Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you had a good end of the year. I know I did. I took some downtime, disappeared for a while, so you haven't seen any videos lately, but I wanted to come back to you with one on a topic that's been of interest to me. I did some research on it. I've been talking to some folks about it, and I want to share it with you. And that is the concept of a SAFT, is the way I will say it, which would be SAFT. My third most watched video on my channel is about SAFEs, S-A-F-E, Simple Agreement for Future Equity. That's my third most watched video on the channel, and it's all about the idea of how startups can use a simple convertible note that has been worked on by companies and incubators like Y Combinator, called a Simple Agreement for Future Equity. And the way this works is investors give a startup capital in exchange for the ability to convert the investment into equity or ownership in the venture at a later date. And the reason SAFEs are so popular is, number one, the documents Y Combinator has given, post those for free, and I'll put the link here for you in the video. But those are so popular because when you're a pre-revenue startup, it's really hard to value what your startup is worth because you haven't accomplished enough things and you don't have any revenue that can be used as a benchmark. And so what a SAFE does is it basically allows the investor to put money into your venture, but you both agree to essentially wait and value the business when there's more going on. And that way, hopefully the founders get a much, much better valuation as they're doing it. So SAFEs have become really, really popular for raising capital for pre-revenue startups. Now, there's a new version of this that is an SAFT, and what the T stands for is tokens. So Simple Agreement for Future Tokens. So this was created to allow cryptocurrency startups to fundraise without being in violation of any security regulations. In exchange for investing in the business, the investors get the opportunity to get the issued token when, and this is a key part about a SAFT or an SAFT, the investors don't get a token right away. The investors actually get the token when the underlying project is completed. Now, if you've heard of an ICO, and I actually did a video on this as well, an ICO, an initial coin offering, then the SAFT will sound a lot like an initial coin offering, but they are different. And it's that last part that makes them very, very different. In an initial coin offering, the investors, the folks who are buying into that ICO, get a coin right away. So let's pretend for a minute, since everyone knows what Bitcoin is, let's pretend it doesn't exist yet. I come out, I've created Bitcoin, and I'm going to do an ICO, an initial coin offering, in order to raise capital for my startup. Okay. So what I do is I create Bitcoin, create a cryptocurrency, and then you buy in as an investor, and the amount that you buy in at, you get a certain number of coins called Bitcoin at this point, is how that would work, right? So ICOs ran into a lot of problems because, candidly, a lot of people abused them. There was a lot of scams involved with ICOs, so folks would claim to be doing this really cool startup. They were using an ICO to fundraise. People would put money into the business, and then poof, they would all disappear with all this capital, and their coins weren't worth anything. SAFT, SAFTs, I'm just going to have to use the acronym. SAFTs are a lot different. And because if you notice, what I said is when the investor does a simple agreement for future token, they put money into the business, but they don't get a token right away. They have to wait for the underlying project to be completed. So let's say that you're starting a startup that is building a new piece of software on the blockchain that leverages the blockchain. You create an SAFT. I put money into your business. You get my capital in order to put to work trying to pay your software engineers to go out and build this blockchain-based solution. And in exchange, I get a token that you will create when that blockchain-based project is complete. The reason that's so important, and that I'm hammering this home for you in an SAFT, is that when the project's complete, now we have something that could be of value that will make the token worth at least something. With an ICO, folks were raising money from all over the place. The project was fake or really didn't have a lot of chance for ever being successful. The project never got completed, and so the tokens, the underlying tokens, weren't worth anything. With an SAFT, because we wait to get the actual token until after the project is over, there's some value there. Now, I know you're thinking, well, what happens if that project falls apart? That's part of investing in the first place in a startup. Just because it involves a cryptocurrency that is issued at a later date doesn't necessarily increase the risk. There are investors now that are putting money into startups, and those startups never make it anywhere, and their investment becomes worth zero. The same thing can be true in an SAFT. So this is a brand new way for companies to raise money. I would encourage you, if you're raising capital and you like what you're hearing from me, this idea of a simple agreement for future token is very interesting to you. Don't just rush off and head in that direction. Make sure doing fundraising through this type of vehicle makes a lot of sense for what you're trying to do. Don't always jump on the latest fundraising trend. You want to make sure it makes sense for the type of business you have and the investors that you're going to be going after. Usually these SAFTs are almost exclusively for cryptocurrency, blockchain-based projects. So keep that in mind. But a really cool new way out there, that's the fun part of startups and angel investing, venture capital. New investment vehicles are coming up all the time that are making it less and less expensive to raise capital. And I just love that part of the industry. Anyways, good to be back with you. Until next time, hope you find your voice. Have a great day.